All right, Geek Outings on the cusp of greatness here with this new Clone Wars season. We're going to cover it for lifelong friends, talking about geeky things. That's just what we do. Editor coming out of San Antonio, Texas, home of the coronavirus. No, it's not. No, it's not.
All right, on the tail end of that bad joke, Bob and Joel Cole coming to you from the cliffs of Santa Monica where the AT-ATs hang out looking to get us.
They have nowhere to go.
This is Boba Fresh, Rob Strader, coming at you from San Francisco, California, by way of Yo Mama.
Ooh, interesting. Rob, Loose Dog Lucy, for this episode, Rex Lucy. And, because I think Rex really stood out in this episode.
And you're saying you recognize a lot of Rex's traits within yourself? You identify with Rex as a character?
I did spend 5 years in the Marine Corps, and he's a literally a bred and born soldier.
Well, they're all bred and born soldiers.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Undercut that one. It's an entire base full of bred and born soldiers.
Does that make them any less human?
I guess we should call you...
Does that make them any less human?
Maybe Robert Reg? Lucy? Instead of Rex?
Not like Reg. I'd be more like a shock trooper. Marine Corps is not regular.
Okay, now let me ask you something, because like when I watched episode 1, I've been watching Clone Wars again, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Rex and Cody, to me, call me racist, call me clonist, call me whatever you want. They're pretty much interchangeable. I don't know which is which. If you had to define the difference between Rex and Cody, what would it be?
It comes down to the tattoos.
The color of their armor?
Yeah, and the armor, yeah.
So nothing.
But nothing. But one could argue also that clones that are put through a leadership program are given very similar characteristics and patterns of traits. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, traditionally, and you just got done watching the Clone Wars, it's the tattoos or maybe the facial hair, but they're all given numbers.
I think that what Ed was leaning towards was in the sense of in the movies the mesh up of the clones is much more indiscernible, and so the clones become much more of an amalgam of people throughout. As opposed to in the Clone Wars, they definitely spend time defining Rex, Fives, Cody, now obviously really going in with the Bad Batch. So, and I don't mean to put words into your mouth, Ed, but I was kind of feeling like he was asking, like, is there really a difference that you can tell between Rex and Cody? Because they're written very, very similarly, and there's nothing discerning or stand out about their leadership style or personalities.
No, 100%. That's exactly what I meant. Thank you for voicing it. I mean, the whole team, right? It's like Clone Force 99, and then what Lucy was saying is the face tattoos. So you totally – what I really liked about this misfit group of fuck-ups, I guess, that are actually better than they should be. Like, we've seen this trope 1,000 times in movies, especially heist movies, but not Rick and Morty heist movies. Their face tattoos, like once they remove their helmet, like the face tattoo is still there, which I thought was like kind of a double tribal thing, because all these clones are they have no purpose in this world except to fight. So, closer to the fighting getting over, which we're close to Order 66 now, they start questioning what their value is and what their worth is. And those tattoos, as you noted, Lucy, do become more meaningful. It's not just – it becomes identity. It becomes, how am I not a soldier anymore? What am I going to be after this? And if you watch later seasons of Rebels, you see what happens to some of these guys. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to spoil that, but they're definitely – this whole season, I feel, will definitely be a search for identity.
and I think that you can't undercut the fact that this draws from Jango Fett's Polynesian heritage and the meaning of tattoos that they're taking from real world culture and then transplanting and putting that into the meaning for the clones, which I think is like a really dope thing.
Bobby, what did you think coming in, not being well-versed in the Clone Wars? I mean, I don't think – yeah, I've watched it many times. I still don't think I'm well-versed. There's so much going on. What did you think watching The Bad Batch coming in with fresh eyes?
No, I liked it, and I've probably seen less than a half a dozen episodes of season 1. Like, that's my experience with the show. But I saw right away, like, what they're doing. Like you said, it's a used trope, but I appreciate it. I mean, come on, it's like the A-Team. It's a group of misfits, you know, but they are a group of misfits that kick ass. And also, what they slip in, which is like a throwaway line, is that, clone Troop 99 with 100% success rating. And they just, like, keep on going on, just like how good they are. 100%? You mean they've never lost? So they may act like misfits or like people don't really like them or whatever, but they are the A-Team. They're the elite. And I also like how they just tell the story of it being the baseline is Jango Fett, which is already badass, which you can see that all of them have like crazy knife skills, hand to hand, like a baseline of just pretty intense soldier skills. But then how they can differentiate based on their like special skills is really cool. And so again, it gets into what Strada was saying, Boba Fresh, about identity, delving into identity.
I thought the most poignant line is when Rex is talking and he says, he says, "It's okay, Rex. Sometimes it's hard to be the one that survives." Because Rex was talking about all his clone trooper friends that had died along the way.
He also mentioned Echo at that point, which I always saw.
And Echo's like, you'd think I'm crazy. And then, going back to season 5, there was that friendship among clones, which made me question like the Jedi's values. They're putting these guys on the front line all the time. They have feelings, they have emotions, and Rex right there, he's talking about PTSD, and they don't care. They're like, okay, you're going to die. We're going to make more clones and we're going to send them there. So I think this is, besides having the chip in there, and I'm getting a little deep in Order 66, maybe there's the degradation of the inhibitor chips, but these guys definitely have feelings. And when they deviate, the Bad Batch, if you will, had desirable defects that made them stronger or smarter or faster. What were they doing with the clones that had undesirable mutations? They're liquefied and then turned back into like nutrition shakes.
Oh yeah, no, like that is actual canon. Like the first batch that came out was no good, and they got liquefied and turned back in. And then the second batch of mutations got saved, and that's in canonical. So I don't know if that went into Legends or not, or Extended Universe, or however that works. But yeah, like they're efficient with their bioproduct. They don't just dump it into the ocean,
And to close out episode 1. Rex is like, that's my friend. I have to go save my friend. It's not just another clone to Rex. Rex isn't a mindless warrior, nor are any of the other clones. He's like, we're going, and we're gonna rescue him because he deserves to be rescued. So it does open up, a bigger philosophical question on, are they right sending clones into battle, or is the Empire or the Separatists taking the moral high ground and sending droids into battle? And in a lot of ways, I think I've watched Star Wars long enough to like, they value droids a lot more than they do their clones.
Yeah, if I can speak up on that, because I think that's a great philosophical thing, and you just really encapsulated it there. Like, And I would have to say, I think there are clear lines. And where I stand is like, no, it's not ethical to send clones in the battle. You wouldn't clone people, send them to fight with no choice. I think it's okay to send droids in. They're robots. They don't have feelings that we understand, that we can, or, I mean, unless we build them into it. But, I mean, so, yeah. So what? Is the Empire more humane than the...
But then there comes the argument, is the draft ethical? So then there's
there's arguments on both sides.
But so that's the point, is that the Empire, the New Republic, didn't draft anybody. They ended up having all these clones, specially bred. Now, I think that there's an extremely unique moral quandary, especially as we encroach on the scientific breakthroughs that we are, with Dolly being a past memory, and people being able to basically clone their pets somewhere on Earth, somewhere.
Dude, we're hearing about human-animal chimeras that are outlawed being done like in remote laboratories, places.
Exactly. So someone's Dr. Moreau something somewhere. The Separatists using their droids, is that, much more ethical? Is it better for the droids to occupy organics when they don't have any kind of feelings? Like, I think at the bottom line, the concept that war is unethical itself is what Star Wars pushes. I think that the quandary that Lucy presents, especially a great one since he is a military veteran, is how does a government utilize their soldiers? And are the soldiers disposable? Are they people? And how do you reintegrate them into a society post-war, especially a society that's a peaceful society, which I think was really done well with Cara Dune in Mandalorian, kind of exploring, like, I was a shock trooper, now I'm not, like, I wasn't a peacekeeper. I wasn't in there to settle riots and quell civil disturbances. Like, I was there to fight for a purpose and for a cause. And so if you're a standing soldier who's bred for that cause, and that cause is won, what is your purpose?
Or if that cause is lost. Wouldn't you think the clones would be decommissioned? I know we get to Star Wars Rebels and they're still around, but...
I mean, I stand of the clones.
They get integrated into the stormtroopers.
I think they're already bred to die, and I think the way Palpatine planned for the Jedi to die, as his warriors as well, with being the Chancellor, he planned for enough of them to die and didn't care about what happened to the rest, because exponentially it doesn't matter. Much like many countries, our own included, treat their own vets.
Yeah, and not to step on my own point right there, but yeah, it was Palpatine who coordinated the building of the clone army and all that.
Okay, so like one of the last things I noticed on this episode is the fact that, the clones are pre-programmed, and yes, they do have things they need to fulfill. Order 66 included in that. But, they still want to do what they want to do. Like, they want to find Echo because it's one of their old buddies, one of their old teammates, part of their family, the only family they've ever known. So there's obviously a budding, some awakening. How does Childish Gambino say it, Bobby? Stay woke. Like, they're getting woke. They're learning what's going on in their life and what life is, and it's not just war and all these things.
I think that that's a really interesting concept too, and going on with like the humanization of these clones and how we treat our own soldiers. Like, what's the difference between a clone and a career military man? But Lucy, what's a career military life before you get?
20 years before you would qualify for full retirement benefits, if you will. So 20 years.
For active and enduring military, and mind you, we haven't been at war for a 20-year span at any point, thankfully.
What are you talking about?
A typical
war was like 91.
We're still at war.
We don't have established fronts. We're not at war. We don't have
people are dying.
People are
exactly. Soldiers are dying every year.
I'm not saying that
what
there's
the
not
definition of war. Your definition of war is
the small W versus the large W.
Hey,
3 years
Lucy,
overseas.
I just had this kind of idea, but would you say that this is true? But someone, as they do more and more tours, it could almost have the same effect of being incarcerated over and over again. Like they get institutionalized. Some people get more acclimated to being in a at-fight status than being able to.
Yeah. So that if you know a little bit about PTSD, post-traumatic, my points. I've talked to people about this before. You go to boot camp, you train to fight. You go to your combat school, you train to fight. You go to combat. Or you go to the league, you train to fight. So for 99% of your tour, if you just do 4 years, you're either fighting or training to fight. And then they give you like a week and a half of like stand down courses like, hey, you're getting out of the military. Like this is how to go to a job interview. You should buy a suit. Here are some people that are hiring. Your local sheriff's department, the prison department,
But if you can't, isn't that and you re-sign up, isn't that Stockholm syndrome in a way? Or almost like the people that are in prison and don't know how to function outside of prison so they get arrested again?
That was kind of my point, yeah, that they function better.
Going to boot camp, especially in the Marine Corps, they have been brainwashing.
Hold on. Can you talk about this right now, or are you going to get killed?
Am I going to get killed?
Is that a red dot on your head? Lucy, is that a red dot? Just move real quick.
Okay. I just want to make sure we can record another episode. We have at least a whole season.
They are training. You have to change somebody's mindset. They are training people to kill other people. That is their own. Like you go to boot camp, like they're training you to think in a military mindset, how to kill and not be killed. And then you go to war to kill or not be killed. And they have to teach you to do unnatural things. First off, killing somebody is not natural. Number two, if you're getting shot at, the natural instinct would be to run. But when you're, at least in Marine Corps boot camp and military training afterwards, when you get shot at, you turn towards the bullets, shoot back at them, and run towards them.
That is the opposite of fight or flight.
Exactly. That's why it's brainwashing.
Well, no, it's actually fight instead of flight. You're picking fight.
Yeah, well, you're training you to pick fight over flight. But that's to survive and stuff like that. So, and I don't want to say like, how do I put people thrive? There are people that thrive under that mindset.
The Punisher.
Yeah.
Really, Frank Castle?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking comic books, sure. There's people that thrive in that mindset that are gonna like excel and
100% Vogel would have been a very successful Viking.
But he would have been an awesome Viking. I don't know about a great soldier, but
yeah, not a good soldier. But I think to go to Lucy's point, and like there are people who are just great storytellers. There are people who are great parents. There are people who are like. We are bred and we have subroutines running through us. And there are some people who are Punisher-like subroutines. And my point of essentially going back to the clones is that if there's humans that are wired to want to go and do 12 years, 3 active tours of duty, why wouldn't the clones be able to have that wired to be the thing that they want to do and the way that they want to live? And with the short lifespans that they have, if we can be at war, like you guys are saying, like, if we're at big W or little W wars for 20 years, these clones are going to have a high attrition rate and eventually die. Rex shouldn't be alive this long. Is it natural that the clones' degradation of their minds due to PTSD and their short lifespans drive them crazy? And will we find out what happened to Echo? See you next episode.
Oh. On that note, I'd like to close out from San Antonio. What do I tell you guys? That Rob just called all humanity the Borg in a way. And, like, comment, subscribe. Let's have a talk. Maybe we don't just...
spoilers!
Maybe we just stop throwing random shit to the wall and see what sticks, and somebody tells us, hey, do this. Don't do that. I like this. I like that.
Nice. I like that too.
Just saying, and we'll have a conversation beyond that. Anyway, San Antonio, once again, home of the coronavirus. That's why I have a dead cat right here, because it died from the coronavirus. Out.
Hey, yeah, Bobby Joel here from Santa Monica, and I want to clear up something. Ed's cat did not die of the coronavirus. It was feline AIDS. All right, just want to clear that up. So, and the cat caught it from Ed. So you guys can fill in the holes there. But thanks for joining us on this episode.
It's called fillades, and I already filled the holes.
Okay. On that bad bestiality joke, Bobby Joel signing out from Santa Monica with the ad behind me. Peace.
Boba Fresh, I'm out.
Bye. Like, comment, subscribe. Looking forward to episode 2 next week.